Hey, I know most of you out there don't like Rose Tico, but at least she isn't this. Rose Tico has perhaps been one of the most divisive characters introduced into main series Star Wars canon since Jar Jar Binks. Now, on the surface, she shouldn't be any more controversial than a character like Finn, but Rose has been so poorly received that actress Kelly Marie Tran left Instagram due to being harassed by Star Wars fans. Which of course is a shame, since actresses don't choose what their characters do, they just work with the material given. And for the most part, she should have been a rather inoffensive addition to the series, but there are two reasons why she's become an especially reviled character. The first one being the Canto Bight sequence, where she leads Finn on a side quest to free animals being abused on a futuristic racetrack. In a movie that's already overly long and has an especially bloated runtime, this is a pacing killer. But hey, at least someone had the foresight to cut out this little penis alien from the final cut of the movie. Yes, that's right, we were so close to having this little penis alien monster alien thing become an official part of the Disney Star Wars canon.
It's mildly erotic, to be honest.
So good. So good.
But saner minds prevailed. The other reason people hate her is of course this infamous scene.
That's how we're gonna win. Not fighting what we hate. Saving what we love.
Which most fans despise. And what I find most frustrating about the scene and its sentiment is the fact that it almost kind of works as a larger message for the film. We see the idea presented at the very beginning in Poe's space battle that opens up the movie. Despite General Leia's orders to retreat, after Poe disables the cannons on the Dreadnought, he decides to move forward with a suicidal bombing run to try and take the thing out. Poe wins the day but kills almost everyone with him in the process. At the end of his assault, the entire bombing fleet is dead, which causes Leia great depression and forces her to demote Poe. This is sort of where we see the theme of saving what you love being more important than reckless heroism. Leia's been around the block. She's seen empires rise and fall, and now in the twilight years of her existence, she understands that saving lives is more important than momentary military victory. There's a sense of fatigue, the idea that after all the heroic sacrifices by the original Rebel Alliance, she's back to the same place again, and to see more people throw away their lives in the same endless conflict that has consumed 2 generations in the galaxy is something she finally sees as futile and pointless. Which is where we start to build up the theme with the importance of saving what you love instead of fighting what you hate, because hate just continues a never-ending cycle of violence in a perpetual Star Wars that will never end. The problem is that Leia never gets to finish this arc, or share her wisdom with Poe, because she gets put into a space coma where she stays for nearly half the movie. Admiral Holdo takes her place, who only serves to infuriate Poe and the audience by not disclosing what her master plan is. This forces Poe to take action, which inadvertently gets more people killed when Rose and Finn bring DJ the hacker, who betrays them to the First Order, who kill thousands as they try to flee on an escape craft. Once what's left of the rebels, I mean the Resistance, is on the not Hoth planet of Crate, we get the infamous reviled line. The rebels are trying to stop a super laser cannon that the First Order has from blowing up their blast doors and slaughtering them all. It looks like Finn is going to save the day by doing an Independence Day style suicide run on the gigantic laser cannon, but then Rose stops him and delivers our all-time favorite line.
Saving what we love.
What makes this especially baffling is because in this moment, the only way to save what you love is to blow up that mega laser before the space Nazis literally knock down your door and murder all of your friends. Nonviolent resistance is cute, but it's not going to do much against the mega blasters of the super space Nazis, and the movie does little to present any alternative on how not fighting what you hate will help resolve any of the galaxy's problems. It's also not a great sentiment for your series that has war in the title. That's where this line becomes especially laughable, is within a few seconds later after giving Finn a kiss, after having next to no romantic chemistry or foreshadowing, we see the First Order literally smash down any pretensions of saving what you love with a giant laser cannon. This message could have worked better if for some reason Poe or some other rebel mook wanted to do an Alamo-style Last Stand where the entire resistance would have died fighting down to the last man, but cooler heads prevail in terms of realizing that escape is their best option. But in practice, Rose winds up undercutting Finn's hero moment and makes things remarkably worse for everyone else. Not to mention that the Resistance is trying to hold out for reinforcements from the rest of the galaxy who completely abandon them, reinforcing the idea that no matter how much they want to save what they love, that doesn't matter because nobody loves the Resistance. This turns what should be a triumphant message about how love can triumph over the forces of hate into an unintentional laughingstock. Not to mention that the film's overall themes about the importance of failure being the greatest teacher feels hollow because what does anyone really learn? The only consistent message is that you shouldn't try to be heroic because you'll mess it up and get a lot of people killed. Maybe you should run away a little faster. That's about it, and sadly, it's hard to see how saving what you love will do in the face of a giant starship with laser blasters, which is especially true towards the end, where we see that the entire Resistance has been stripped down to about a dozen people, all hiding away on the Millennium Falcon with a misguided and completely unwarranted sense of hope after being left to die by the galaxy at large. At this point, it's hard not to groan at Rose's sentiment of winning by the power of saving what you love, and it's this false sentiment that has led to the character becoming such a punching bag. Some say that a lot of it is driven by racism and angry white fanboys who can't accept a woman of color hanging around in their Star Wars. While I can see some of the harassment being motivated by that, I don't think that's entirely it. Just look at Ahsoka Tano from the Clone Wars and how she became embraced by the larger Star Wars fandom due to her multi-season story arc, where she went from becoming an obnoxious sidekick who called Anakin Sky Guy.
Stop calling me that! You're stuck with me, Sky Guy.
What did you just call me?
To becoming a beloved Jedi Master simply through the power of being given a good story arc and not screwing shit up for anyone else. I'm sure if she somehow showed up in Episode 9, people would cheer. And that ultimately is what everything comes down to. If you want these diverse characters to resonate, give us a reason to like them. Give them good hero moments and something that doesn't undercut other pre-established characters. The reason why Ahsoka having her final confrontation with Darth Vader in Rebels carries so much weight is because there's a history. She is literally trying to save something that she loves, and there are consequences for that, as she faces her former master who was too far gone to the dark side. And it works. Rose Tica's sentiment at the end of The Last Jedi does not. And you can argue how her inclusion is an important piece of making Star Wars more inclusive, but if you want to see how far inclusion brownie points gets you, then go down to your local toy store and just take a look at the entire aisles filled with unsold Rose Tica action figures, which says otherwise. But despite her miserable introduction, it's not impossible for the character to have a redemption. Black Widow was worthless in Iron Man 2 and didn't really become an interesting character until Joss Whedon got his hands on her for the Avengers. Likewise, I really didn't like Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and thought she was kind of a non-presence, but in Infinity War she was great and gets some of the best lines in the movie alongside Drax. She feels more like an integral part of the team. So it's not impossible that Rose Tico could get a major redemption before everything is said and done in Episode 9, but we'll see. The only thing we can say for certain is that change is coming to Star Wars. The question is, will it come before it's too late? Just remember, all it takes is one really good movie to turn things around. Remember when everyone thought X-Men was dead due to the 1-2 punch of X-Men 3 The Last Stand and Wolverine Origins? Then Matthew Vaughn saved the entire series with First Class. It could still happen, but then again, J.J. Abrams is at the helm, so maybe everyone will just destroy a new superweapon that's as big as the sun. Hey, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for sticking around. If you're interested, I recently tried to do a Kickstarter to force a good friend of mine who is a lapsed Star Wars fan who hasn't seen anything since the prequels to go watch the new Disney era of Star Wars movies and see what he thinks, but Kickstarter took it down. Yes, that's right, the crowdfunding site responsible for such masterpieces like Potato Salad deemed my thing unworthy. I tried to appeal the decision, I'm still waiting to hear back, but you know what, screw them, I'm gonna go to Indiegogo, and Indiegogo is launched right now. You can go pledge, there's a link down in the description below, and there's an annotation coming up, so if you want to help me make my dumb thing come true so I can make a little video series where I force my friend to watch Star Wars, go in and send your shekels, send your dollars, send your bitcoins, maybe not bitcoins, but send whatever currency you got, so I can force my friend to make videos about Star Wars, and we can hear what he has to think, what he thinks about all this. So again, thanks for watching the video, and remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it.